Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. Alright, so this is a filler episode because it's me playing. Not that it's Kinemon. It has nothing to do with the leader, it has everything to do with the player. I'm a deck builder, but I was just like, alright, we need to catch up and fix things. So Kinemon is a deck that I keep on the back burner because he's solid fundamental wise. It's just, what does the meta look like and what available tools are there for him? So for the most part, just because it's solid doesn't mean it can compete with the kookiness, is what I'm trying to say. So it's like, okay, next set, they're going to release more Wano cards. He can have a better curve. He can have a lot more to deal with. One of the things I always thought that helped him was the fact that, hey, if the board removal is in the game, then essentially you can always, use his leader ability. It's a little over-restricting, overbalanced, I should say. Too restricting or overbalanced. I'm sure if he was printed now, it would say if you have 2 or less, then, probably 3. Is that pushing it? Probably 2 or less, yeah, because 3 would be, more than half a board state, since you can only have 5. So yeah, it'll probably say if you have 2 or less characters, you can reduce the cost of. That's probably what they would do for him. So I'm developing Yamato just to get more cards on the board, because it's like, yeah, the more you can just swing on a nail, the better. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's a little too easy to keep. So trash. I make misplays, by the way. Trust me. I make misplays. Not counting Dawn properly, not maximizing things. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? I got this in my hand. Let's just rest that and focus, because I know Enel likes me attacking their life. And since I lost my 5-drop Yamato, I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one quick enough. So this is where my thought process is at. Let me draw a card. I was like, if anything, it's counter power. Now, I have another Ryza in my hand. So this is like a mistake that I definitely can remember making. I have a Ryza in my hand. I should have just swung. Oh, I did. What was my mistake? I felt like I remember a mistake. Okay, maybe it's a different play. Or maybe is it that if I just swung a Ryza, drew a card, then I could have played the blocker and... But no, that's a little too convoluted. So, okay, I think I'm overthinking things right now. But point is, I'm stuck with 2 active Dawn. There was probably a more efficient thing I could have done here. Now, I definitely shouldn't have attacked with Kikunojo, because they were already on their 1 life, so that was a mistake I made. So I block. I'm like, you know what? I got all these swings. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They scoop. They definitely could have probably kept themselves alive. The good thing about Kikunojo is rest. And then I had a Cat Viper in my hand. So I had options to basically force rest on my opponent. So in a weird way, yeah, that was my game. But I'm like, okay, there is an aggressive strategy to these Wano cards. They're old. I ain't gonna lie to you. These cards are old, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, okay, there's an aggressive strategy. You could keep putting things on your board. If your opponent's gonna be able to take things off your board, you can keep putting things on your board. But your leader ability does turn off, sadly, the moment you have 2 characters. Once you got 2 characters, your leader ability turns off. And you gotta hope your opponent is like punishing your board or really, getting at your board. Then you can just trigger your leader ability again and again and again. But you can kind of say that's like not realistic. So part of my problem, I believe in this match it happens. I could be wrong. Let's see if it happens before I even say anything. Develop. Okay, I think it might be the other game. But very strong opening. This is what I low-key love about Kinemon. It's like you can have a super strong opening. You can just start a game with a Kikunojo if you're going second, that is. You know, you can play your 5-drop. It does change the game a lot and allows you to just make these stronger plays. So that's why I feel like when stronger Wano cards come out, or just more utility comes out in general, then sorry, Kinemon could get looked at, and Odin could get looked at, because it's like my thought process, along with, it's like, okay, what can they do? My thought process is like, what new cards, mainly events for the most part, but what new cards can kind of just make it healthier? So, I just play the, I don't know what the elephant punch thingy, that new 1-dan event card that does the 300 pump. I'm like, okay, as long as I could keep my board alive. I have Paradise Waterfall for the sake of the potential of like the restand, because it's like respectfully, if I'm being extra aggressive and I'm attacking, then it's like, yeah, let's restand. And if you fail because you're trying to maximize your play, like, you swing for 1k over because you're going to just attack again, Paradise Waterfall, yes, I'm a 5-life leader, hit my life. Now I got my character next turn to, put that pressure back on the opponent. So I just think the deck can be very aggressive if you play the right cards for it. I love the You Could Be My Samurai, because one of the few decks to have a lot of 1-drops, right? So you have the Otama, or 1-drop / low drops, right? You have the Otama, you have Momonosuke. If you rather draw instead of search, you have this 2k counter that I'm using, which I make a misplay, a mistake, a miss-up with her, but she allows you to double attack essentially, and after you do that, you gain value by playing You Could Be My Samurai. So that's the ideology. Just looking at what this Dofi's doing. So my mistake is about to come up. So alrighty, make sure I activate leader ability. Try to think of my options. So I think part of my mistake was like miscounting Dawn. I mean, 2k over, you already know you're going to lose a lot of cards. There it goes. The thing about this, like, Dofi's specialty is the fact that you have to make sure you manage his board, and then in the late game he has a lot of life cards. But for the most part, it's like I am trying to like build this deck aggressive, so I feel confident. It's like, okay, don't worry, there's gonna be a turn where I can just go choo, choo, choo. Okay, he defends, get a nice value. So this is my mistake right here. So I realized many things I could have done. I could have just put 1 Dawn. Well, one, I shouldn't have even played that. I could have just played, I forgot that girl's name, and just let her stay on the board. But there was a Gravity Tiger. And then I could have, but yeah, I played, I didn't get to restand. I say, you know what, it is what it is. At least I'm going to be able to have a draw 2 setup. The trigger is surprisingly good against Dofi, but there is no 4-drop on his board. Because if there was, that trigger would have went off. So this is one of my favorite things that's available to this leader. Hiyori, right? Hiyori, okay. The fact that you can reduce Hiyori's cost, use her as a target for You Could Be My Samurai, and then use her ability to cheat out a character. I was hoping to draw more characters, but like heavier end characters, but it's like it wasn't happening for a second. So that Momo came in clutch in my opinion. So I'm just like, okay, where's my late game? Where's my Odin? I'm also realizing, oh man, I don't need that much Dawn. I don't got much Dawn maximizing plays. So I was like, okay, well, I'll swing for 7. They're probably gonna take. They got a lot of life. I was like, come on now. And then you use the ability, draw the card. And I was like, you know what? I think I know what I want to do. Play Searcher and still no 8-drop Odin. My feelings was hurt. So I said, let me just get this 2K. So essentially 2K for 2K. And then they scooped. So when observing his hand and knowing that I had to 5-drop Yamato, it actually would have been extremely difficult for him to come back. Respectfully. He would have had to attack my low drops. He had to respect them since he knows I play You Could Be My Samurai. Okay, this is my mistake. This match let me know I shouldn't open the game with a Searcher. But it's a strategy that I was like low-key aware of beforehand. But now that I'm in the hot seat and playing, I'm like, oh snap, completely forgot. But don't open the game up with a Searcher. What you call it? Once you're over your limit, then you could play, your Searchers and stuff, because those things don't come off the board unless you give your opponent a reason to take it off the board, which is like the You Could Be My Samurai. You can get utility out of them, and now your opponent has to attack them because it's like, yo, this guy's drawing 2 off of these low drops. I'm not going to make this easy for him. I'm going to take them off the board. And then that's how you can go back to using your leader ability. Now I was just like, damn, Cat Viper isn't enough, quite enough. I'm like, there are some low drops in the deck, but just not quite enough. So I was just like, okay, I'm happy and blessed to be able to have the strength of Kikunojo right now. I remember Kikunojo was a beast when this card game OP11, so effective. And it's just like, okay, cool. Now that the game is getting more aggressive and the cost of these characters are a lot lower, yes, things like Kikunojo and some of these Wano cards and stuff can actually have impact on the game. So especially when Rayleigh comes out, like the tempo of the meta is changing. So there's some decks that I can't wait for OP12 to start making. I'm like, okay, cool. Because this top end, high end meta, this high drop stuff, I'm like, there's so many cards that you just can't use because of that. But now it's just like, okay, so I got nervous here. I was like, a little bit of dookie. I was like, this looks terrible. And I'm like, I don't have efficient amount of Dawn to make the right plays. I don't have, my Otama has no power. So even if I wanted to like do a little Cat Viper, attack their Searcher just to get it off their board, because they're going to swing with it. I was just like, dag. I don't really got much. Is it safe to use my event and rest something and start swinging on it? Like, I was really thinking here. And then I had this brave idea. I'm like, I'm going to put them as close to lethal as possible. Because if they get trigger summons, then sure, you're going to have to eat your board, is what I was thinking. You're going to have to eat your board if you try to trigger summon. So you're more than likely not going to use your trigger summon except to get your 1-drop off the board. So I'm attacking, and they actually defended against everything. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe they feel confident that they can actually blink me because there's 2 Karasus on that board. So I was like, let me do this. I'm threatening Yamato, and I have my active Dawn. Thank God I top decked the event. I got my active Dawn. I got 3 defensive events, and I got some counter some counter power. Got a 2k counter. So I was just like, okay, this is at the moment the easiest attack to counter out because it's the first swing. I just lost my 1k. So I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be safe to take a hit. I'm going to have to just go right ahead and just counter out of the first hit because everything else is going to be very difficult to counter out of. So I'm like, okay, lost another. Let's just take. Sadly, no counter power. The attack, that difference is too strong, but I'm like, okay, got some counter power. I'm thinking to myself, overall, I'm safe. I just need to make sure I can get out of like 1 more attack, worst case scenario. That kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay then, but this is a lot lower, so I'm gonna counter out of this. There we go. So yeah, the rest of the game is looking like a sad story because they only got 2 more swings. And yes, well, why did I forget the name of that guy? My character is 6k power, so everything doesn't matter. Is it Ryuma? I'm like, well, I could definitely keep him safe. And this is the golden opportunity. No cards in hand. I'm going to swing roll with Yamato. Lose those 2 life. Delicioso. And then go for a game. OG. Thanks for watching this filler.